So I am a big fan of when authors who typically write fiction will come out with a nonfiction book that kind of tells you a bit about their life, but also talks about their process of writing and creativity and all of that stuff. And so today, the book we're going to talk about is called Watching Evil Dead: Unleashing the Radiant Artist Within by Josh Malerman. If you've been around the channel, you know that I am a big Malerman fan. Of course, I was going to read this book. Like, I love Stephen King's book on writing. I think it's absolutely fantastic. And then I'm also a big fan of like Anne Lamott's Bird by Bird, also another fantastic book on writing. So this one, Watching Evil Dead. The book centers around this pivotal moment in Josh's life when he watched Evil Dead with his fiance, who they're getting married. By the time this video comes out, they will probably be married. His fiance, Allison. She'd never seen it, and they were going to watch this movie together. And when they finally do, it's a very pivotal moment in his career and his writing career and all that stuff. When they first met, he had just gotten a book deal for the book Bird Box. And I think at that time too, his band, The High Strung, they had recorded a song that was the theme song for the show Shameless. And so that was going on. And they've been together for a long, long time. This goes through the whole beginnings of their relationship, and it also talks about his thought processes with creativity and writing and all that stuff. And he kind of like gives you a walkthrough with what his day is like when he writes. He kind of does it how like Stephen King does it. It's like every day he sits down and he writes from either this time to this time. And different books seem to have or call for different hours and whatnot. But he always makes it a point to do the day's writing and had been doing that for years and years and years. And he says too, like, what reading and writing are to him, it's not an escape, it's almost like a meditative state for him. And it's crazy, like his enthusiasm pretty much leaps off the page at you. It's very tangible. You can sense the excitement within the pages. This is a book that I will definitely come back to and read again. It gives you a peek behind the curtain. It shows you a bit about who this maestro word wizard is that went from sleeping in his friends' hallways to, writing and becoming a very prominent horror author. Some of his other stuff too, with his music and whatnot. It's a pretty great book. And so Watching Evil Dead, he is a Michigan author, and Evil Dead was a movie that was made by Sam Raimi and Bruce Campbell and a crew of characters, and they were Michigan people. Evil Dead has a crazy cult following, and for the time, that movie was honestly groundbreaking in the genre. So just a lot that ties in with that movie, along with like the Michigan thing and the creativity and just those Sam Raimi and Bruce Campbell like going for it, being creative and kind of, I guess, following their dreams, right? Because their dream was to make a movie, and they did. And they made one that's become like this really famous cult classic over the years. So you go through like the lead up of finally watching this movie. What happens when they go and watch it, and they go and watch it with this couple? And I'm very curious how this couple will feel about how they were portrayed in this book, because they both look like a-holes in it. That's just my opinion, but they both came across as jerks. I'm sure they're fine, but they were going through a breakup and going through rocky times when this happened. And then like you have Josh and Allison, and they're all new and like fuzzy and in the clouds in their romance. So like theirs is just beginning, and then you have this other couple, theirs is ending, and then they all watch Evil Dead together and what happens, and the way Allison experienced the movie and kind of like opened Josh's eyes to a different way of looking at it, how that just kind of really unleashed a lot of creativity and momentum. And momentum is a key word in this book, just the momentum of keeping moving and staying in writer's shape, because Josh is a person that says he doesn't really think writer's block is a thing. At least for him, he stays in writing shape. If you're always writing and you're doing it every single day, you're going to stay in that shape. Is where if you start to put it off and you start to procrastinate, you're not going to stay in that writing shape, where you will hit those maybe self-sustained roadblocks and whatnot. You just gotta keep writing no matter what the ideas are and what comes to you. Like, not all of it's going to be great, but there still could be some gems inside of there. So there's just a lot in it. You really hear his voice in the pages, which is truly fantastic. I feel like some people are going to be like, oh, well, there's really not a ton about the writing process. It's more like the whole idea and the state of mind. It's not like, here's the rules and here's what you need to do to be a good writer. Like, it's, this is how I get into the vibe and channel the creativity. Tapping into something that you feed off of. And with his significant other, Allison, like, she's an artist, she's a singer, she's a musician, she does so many things too. So they basically, like, they feed off of each other's energy. And seriously, when you think of like a freaking power couple, but not like the douchey power couples, we have this like vibrant, vivacious, magical unicorn couple. I'm gonna call them magical unicorns because they kind of are. they're unicorns. One in a freaking million, and they found each other, so good for them. I loved this book. I will reread it just as I've reread Stephen King's On Writing and Anne Lamott's Bird by Bird. Being able to see and walk through, in Josh's own words, in his storytelling, seeing the moments in his life that set him on this path to such a fantastical and amazing career as an author, as a musician, as a creative. I'm just getting to do really cool stuff. Living the dream, you know, like a lot of people say that sarcastically or ironically, but he's really doing it. They're doing it, and it's a beautiful thing. So if you are a Malerman fan, definitely read this. If you're looking for more creative inspiration for your writing, or not even just writing, like a lot of what he says in here, you can take it to whatever kind of medium you work with, whether it's film or art, even content creation. I mean, it is very inspiring and very vibrant and the pages are alive. If I could give this 6 stars, I would give it 6 stars. I loved it. You're gonna be like, Sin, you're such a fangirl. Well, kind of, yes. Let's be honest. I am kind of a fangirl, but also, this book really is fantastic. If you do end up reading it, let me know your thoughts on it. This book comes out the 16th of September, and if that does change or if the date's different, I will put something down below here that says when the actual date is. So if that sounds good to you, definitely check it out when it comes out. And if you enjoyed hanging out today, hit that subscribe button, come back, see me again, and we'll talk about more bookish things and weird stuff.